Texoma Exotics presents Not Another Reptile podcast.
Hey everybody, happy Father's Day.
We're back.
Happy
We're
Father's
back.
Day.
We're back and
How
we
you
don't
guys
know how
doing?
ready we are. What's up, James? James, I really want to get you on the show, bud. You need to reach out to us and let's make this happen. Hey
What's up,
Mike,
Mike?
how's it going? Hope you're feeling better, bud.
Casey. Come on, man.
Casey, what's going on?
How's it going, man?
Snake for me the other week.
Oh yeah,
Snake from him the other week.
What's up, Patrick?
that's another Patrick. We need to get him on the show, man.
Yes, sir.
Dustin, what the-
Dustin, happy Father's Day, you cute ass mother.
Thank you.
I'm gonna keep it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna keep it PG for a second.
Everybody
Yes,
can
yeah.
read it on the screen, though.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can read. I mean, if they can read.
Fair
Sure.
enough. Fair enough.
So we have Bryan. I met Bryan, I don't know how long ago. He's one of my local guys here in Durant. And I'm just going to bring him on stage, y'all. What's up, Bryan?
What's up, everybody?
Hey,
man?
Brian, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it.
The shit show.
Shit show.
Thank you for having me on.
You
I'm
bet.
glad you come on. Like I said, I met Bryan. He's a customer, and then he's just a cool guy. Started following him on TikTok. He has a massive following on TikTok, y'all. He keeps hots. He bought a snake from me. I don't know how many ball pythons you have.
I got 5 now.
5.
Five whole ball pythons.
You should keep it there.
I sorted too late. There's already more coming.
Yeah, buddy. There you go.
Yes,
So
it should be
it sounds to me like
our
sounds like to me like Brian is like Instagram's best kept secret. He's all over TikTok. Apparently, he's like TikTok famous.
I don't know about
you got,
that.
we got nothing on the gram. I can't go to TikTok, so you got to come to the gram.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
I'll definitely gonna focus on trying to spread it around a little more.
So,
Yeah.
what specifically is making you so famous on TikTok? I already know the answer, but nobody else does.
I mean, I don't know. It's growing pretty quickly, which is crazy. I didn't never really expect anything like that to happen. I kind of flew by like 10,000 followers the other day, and I don't know. At first, it didn't really sink in. It's just never something I thought about would happen. It's I guess it's all about TikTok is very fast paced.
Right.
Some people's attention span isn't the longest. I feel like it's trying to grab that attention and then trying to hold it. And it seems like venomous snakes do a pretty good job with that, especially when they're out and being handled. So I guess that's
So
pretty
that's what
much
you're
it.
doing on TikTok. You're live handling hots, which are venomous snakes. Because there's somebody in the chat that was like, "What's a hot?" That's
Yeah.
all python breeders don't know what hots are. But so you're taking your snakes out, and these are like cobras, right? You've got cobras.
Yeah, mostly different cobra species. I've got a trio of some mangrove pit vipers. Don't do a whole lot of handling with them. They're just so small and springy. It's it's pretty tough.
Right.
But yeah, so the cobra species I've really fallen in love with. Just super interesting to me. Working on handling with each of them, several times a week, trying to get them less defensive, more just used to being handled. And so they can figure out, I'm not going to eat them like they're used to, if they were to be in the wild.
Yeah. What species of cobras do you have?
So I have an adult pair of Egyptian cobras, Naja Hajj. I've got an adult pair of Chinese cobras, pearl Chinese cobras, Naja Atra. I keep a female Malaysian king cobra. And let's see what others. Oh, the Cameroon forest cobra. Also, I've got a blizzard monocle cobra.
Nice.
Jeez. How do you go about getting these?
Um,
Like they're not on Craigslist.
not too many on Craigslist. Private breeders basically is the route I go.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a lot of people out there that are gonna offer these types of animals for sale. Unfortunately, many of them are wild caught, and wild caught animals come with a whole host of their own problems that I'd rather avoid. So I try my best to stick with like breeders that I know are going to be a clean animal, not coming to me with any crazy stuff. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what on earth made you get into cobras? Like, take us back to before you bought your first one.
So I've been into reptiles and snakes all my life ever since I can remember. I was always out, trying to catch stuff and trying to bring it home and keep it. And of course, that didn't happen very often. But so I eventually got into like really large colubrids, like your corn snakes, gopher snake type of snake. Started getting into like the Southeast Asian colubrids, like the greater keeled rat snake. I had like a 8-footer. They get massive. They're just such big, heavy-bodied, strong, athletic snakes. I just loved, just how big and impressive they were. And the closest thing, next step up, I guess, would be your cobras, because those big colubrids, they act a lot like the cobras do, like your yellowtail crebos and your dry markons genus. They're very similar. I don't know. There's just something about the cobra that I'm just addicted to, whether it's their attitude, how they handle. I don't know, everything about it. I'm just super into.
He loves you too, Dustin.
Yes, I do.
So
Tyler's not one to really express how he feels verbally.
Really?
So if you've ever watched his TikToks, all of his enclosures are so clean. All of your animals are so well maintained. And I love seeing that. Like, you run across some people and their stuff is so sketchy and you're just like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
How long does it take you daily to take care of all those glass enclosures?
I mean, I'm in here now. I'm in here most of the day, pretty much every day. There's never not anything to do. I can always find something to, make something better or clean something. Or, I mean, it's kind of never ending, but I really enjoy the bioactive setup side. I'm just really, really into it and growing plants. And so I guess
How many animals are you up to now?
I think I'm right around 33 right now.
Okay.
And I looked on you do have some pictures on Instagram. You've got some greater keeled rat snakes still.
Yeah, that was the big, I don't have that guy anymore. Had to sell that, unfortunately, several months ago, but yeah,
All
the
right,
the
what
large
else you got
colubrids
besides
I don't
the
have.
hots?
Thank you, Dustin.
What's that?
What else do you have besides the hots and the what
Yeah,
other
so,
non-venomous do you have?
Of course, I keep the ball pythons. I've got a pair of T-negative albino gopher snakes, Pacific gopher snakes. Things like keeping a bunch of rough green snakes that I'm breeding right now. Some Asian vine snakes. Let's see, getting into some corn snakes also. I'm gonna have a shipment coming in this here in a couple of days with some different corn snake morphs, things like that. It's kind of a mixed matched mess of different species.
Yeah.
I would be interested in doing some trading on some corn snakes because I have a brother and sister over here, and I do want to. So they were together for a while until they started fighting over food, and I had to split them up. And that is the only time they ever had an issue is whenever it come to feeding time.
Yeah.
Have you had corn snakes before?
Yeah. Yeah. I've kept several in the past. I've got a small male right now. For the most part, they're really, really chill, really sweet animals. But like you said, feeding time, if they're in close proximity, sometimes they get a little snippy with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. What corns did you get? What morphs? What's your favorite kind of morph corn snakes?
So some of the ones that are coming, one that is coming now, I'm no morph guy by any means, as far as like ball python morphs. I still have a ton to learn on that. So like, I believe there is like, what is it? Got the anery. I would honestly have to look it up. So we got amelanistic or albino. We got there's several males and several females. They've all got different genetics. Like I said, I would have to look it all up, or I'd probably be lying to you.
I'm the same way. It's like once you get on one species, I cannot sit there and go through all the stuff my other snakes have. It's just impossible because I don't focus on that. I focus on what's making me money, and that's the ball pythons.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's why I went with other species that don't have morphs, because I can't keep track of shit.
that's because you're old.
Whoa. Dude, I love the corns.
Speaking of old, hey Tyler, guess what?
What? That was good.
It's that time.
At least let me get it pulled up first, for crying out loud. All right, so typically what I do is we play like a little bit of a round robin where everybody gets quizzed, and you get non-redeemable points that don't count for anything if you get the answer right. But this time I decided to just do some trivia, mainly because I couldn't really form questions that were funny on this stuff. Mainly because I'm old and lazy. But I figured since you work with HOTS, I'd do a little research on venom.
Okay.
And I actually found some stuff out that was pretty darn interesting. So you guys probably know that, reptile venom is used for all kinds of stuff. Besides torture, there's a lot of medical application for reptile venom. So I found out some stuff that I'll share with you guys about it. First and foremost, Gila monster venom is used in the GLP-1 antagonist drugs that are hot on the market now. So that's semaglutide and tirzepatide.
Yeah.
So that's what are they? Ozempic and crap.
Wegovy and
all the weight
Wegovy and
loss
drugs.
Mounjaro and all that stuff. And so it slows down your digestive tract a little bit and makes you feel full. But another thing that it does is that they're just now, I guess, bringing to light is that it's cardioprotective. So it does something. I didn't get a chance to pull up all the specifics, not that you guys care that much, but there's something that is very cardioprotective about their venom. And now it's probably a compound in the venom, so don't go out and get bit by a Gila monster and think that that's going to solve all your cardiac problems, because it'll probably do the opposite.
I'm thinking weight loss. Come on, bite me.
Yeah, you sure as heck won't feel like eating anything for about a week if you get bit by one. That's for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. The other thing that they're doing with cobra venom, both cobra and mamba venom, they have peptides that block a pain channel that is more effective than any opioid. So they are in phase 2 human trials right now for a certain, what you want to call it, drug that's derived from this stuff that is like a massive, massive painkiller with no side effects. And on top of that, it's a massive anti-inflammatory. So you get a 2-for-1 there. When you use Tylenol and Motrin, acetaminophen and ibuprofen, they're anti-inflammatories, but they have a whole host of side effects. This stuff doesn't. And then rattlesnakes have a protein in their venom that stops cancer in its tracks. So they are doing research on that as well. And that's getting ready to go into human trials. Neuroprotection and stroke recovery. So apparently, Malayan pit viper venom and copperhead venom have a protein that is neuroprotective, and it has some sort of unique property that you could administer to someone that has had a stroke immediately, and it supposedly health outcomes are a lot better, post-stroke. So they're doing some studies on that. Let's see, last thing, cobra venom is also a potent antimicrobial, better than a lot of antibiotics. So that's kind of cool. Bushmaster venom has a unique property that promotes wound healing. So in clinical trials, wound healing is 50 to 70% faster when this compound is administered than when given a placebo. So I thought that was some pretty cool stuff that figured I'd share. Oh, and there's a last one. Cobra venom is also good for autoimmune disease treatment. So
That's
like
crazy.
lupus.
There's a lot of medical benefits.
Yeah, lupus and RA are the ones that are being targeted right now for the autoimmune stuff.
Yeah.
If a Western Massasauga venom would be good for that, I mean, I'd be all sticking my elbow in there maybe. People don't really do that. Don't really do that.
Well, that guy that spent, 20, 30 years getting bit by black mambas and cobras and things like that, they're using his blood to do all kinds of, to develop antivenom and then to do all kinds of stuff on it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's kind of interesting.
We are having a wonderful day, y'all.
So there you go. Not that you guys cared, but now you know. There's all kinds of applications for snake venom.
I do care because people are so against snakes. And if I hear it once a day, I hear it about 10 times. The only good snake is a dead snake.
Yeah.
If people would really, just like you did, drop all this knowledge on us about how great it is for the medical part, of our livelihood, maybe they would open their eyes.
No, I agree. I think it's cool that they're actually doing some of this stuff with the venom. I thought that they primarily just collected snake venom to develop antivenom.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like there's a lot of stuff going on right now. And that includes not just reptiles, but black widow venom, funnel web spider venom. That was some of the other stuff that I happened to pull up here. So black widow venom for Parkinson's.
Mm-hmm.
Some preliminary stuff going on there that they think that's going to help alleviate some of the Parkinson's symptoms.
That's awesome. Well, not a lot of people know this about me. I have RA, which is rheumatoid arthritis. And I'd be down to try whatever because honestly, the shots that I have to take, I can't afford right now because guess what? They're $6,000 a month for 2 shots.
Yeesh.
There's no way I can, and that's after insurance pays their portion. So there is no way I can afford that. So I have to do without. And
we need to start getting you envenomated, I think.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm sticking my elbow in there.
Well, we'll start real small, non-scientific. We'll draw some venom from the snake and we'll mix it with saline and cut it down some and
there we
pop
go.
You a shot in the ass and see what happens.
I'll just go to Bryan's house, dude.
We don't even have to draw it out. I mean, I got small cobras. We can just let them have at it first.
I'll be the experiment.
Yeah, dude, venom's so cool. It's so complex that I love reading about the research on it because there's so many different things that make it work to do what it's supposed to do. But when you break some of the things down individually, the compounds and the proteins, they're actually, like you're saying, very helpful.
Yeah.
Right.
And be used. It's wicked.
Well, I don't know if anybody else noticed. We're down a co-host tonight.
Yeah.
She's spending it. Jamie's with her family, out on a lake somewhere. I don't know where. I know I'm supposed to be there, but I'm not. But I hope you're having a great time, Jamie, and happy Father's Day to you and your father. He was supposed to be telling jokes tonight, so.
But
Well, if you need to do it, I can serve as a stand-in.
now we're good.
Okay, are you ready? Bam.
I asked my wife the other day if I was the only one she ever slept with, and she said no, the others were 7s and 8s.
Oh my god. Ooh, I love your
How
wife.
do you like that? So where do pirates get their hooks? Second-hand stores.
Very dad joke.
Yep. Who were the greenest presidents of the United States? The Bushes.
Yeah.
Of course they were. Of course they were.
Oh my god. I can't with you. That one was for Jamie right there.
That was for Jamie. Hey, why did little Suzy fall out of the swing?
Because I pushed her.
Because little Suzy had no arms.
Gosh.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Not Suzy. There you go.
Thank you, Travis.
You're welcome.
That was
You're
wonderful.
Brian's like, what did I get myself into? I could have been on TikTok this whole time.
You can't beat the dad jokes. Can't beat them.
Oh my goodness. That's cool, Patrick.
Bryan, what are some other venomous species, if any, that you're wanting to get into outside of cobras?
I wouldn't mind eventually looking into some mamba species, possibly down the road a little ways. As far as like the vipers go, like the bushmasters and some of the lance heads and stuff like that are really impressive.
Yeah, bushmasters are one of my favorite venomous.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
My goodness.
so
Can you kind of show us whatever you're comfortable with showing?
Yeah, definitely.
He's got some tanks in behind us. You don't have to like pull it out and show it. If you just want to scroll it, whatever you're comfortable with, that'd be cool.
I mean, either way it's fine. Let me think about this.
I mean, granted, it'd be great for the show if you got bit, but we really don't want you.
Travis, no.
No.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's what most people come for anyways. They're like, is he gonna get bit?
No, but seriously, dude, I don't want to see you get bit.
And
I know it's
he
always
is
a risk.
licensed, y'all. He has his license. I assume you do.
Yeah. I'm
like me.
licensed from the state of Oklahoma and the wildlife department. The game warden actually came by about a week ago and did my inspection.
I've got to renew mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, tell you what, I'll grab a hook and we'll look into the enclosure and we can do it that way. Let me turn the light on back here. First one I want to show you is.
Look at that. There's a cobra like right there, just hanging out.
First one I want to show you is my smallest cobra. She's the smallest, but she's the most toxic. So let's see. I mean, I assume I can't flip that around. Grab a small hook here. There they are. All right. Try to do this without getting too crazy with the camera. Okay. So this is a little temporary enclosure waiting on a lot of larger enclosures to come. This is going to be my Blizzard monocle cobra. So we're looking at
Oh my gosh.
13th most venomous snake on the planet right there. So that is, this little girl is no joke. She's super pretty, super cute, but she is for serious.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, she is gorgeous.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Ooh.
The monocles are my favorite cobra species. Love 'em.
Yeah, they are so, so cool. And so she is basically a red-eyed leucistic. The blizzard morph. So one of the parents was a blue-eyed leucistic, and the other was a sunset morph, and that's how they get these red-eyed leucistics like this. Pretty neat.
Very.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse
Is
me,
there
ma'am.
anything unique about these guys with respect to other cobras? I mean, besides the monocle on the back?
That and then just their toxicity level compared to a lot of other cobras.
Okay.
These kind of top most of them out, with the exception of a few.
Now,
Where you
these
going, girl?
cobras they live in fairly close proximity to people over there in Asia and Africa, don't they?
Yes, they
bite a
do.
lot of people.
Yes, they do. Like your monocles and your Indian cobras, stuff like that. Your spectacles. Yeah, there's a whole lot of bites every year. They're in very close proximity to a lot of inhabited areas by people, and unfortunately, it does happen quite a bit. Let me flip these lights on and we'll take a look. She's actually in shed. We're going to leave the forest cobra be for tonight because she is a maniac. We'll go to the Malaysian king cobra.
The king cobras are my favorite.
Yes, this is my favorite animal in my collection. This is my female Malaysian king cobra. Her name is Kai. And she is growing so fast. Let's see. Got to get you guys
And what
in
are
here.
you feeding the king cobras?
So since they are snake eaters in the wild, that's what I feed her. I'm feeding her frozen thawed corn snakes right now. Come here, girl.
And suddenly we know why you're buying the corn snakes.
different corn snakes all along. I actually got all of the frozen corn snakes when I bought this girl from the breeder. So he had already contacted, another breeder, and luckily they came with the purchase. But yeah, this the king cobra is the largest venomous snake on the planet.
Right.
So she'll get up, hopefully close to around 15 feet one day.
Ooh.
So that leads me to a important question.
Mhm.
How much space do you have to grow into with a lot of? I mean, I don't think most of these species get huge, except for the king cobra there. But
Mhm.
what are you going to do with a 14, 15 foot venomous snake? What's your kind of end goal for an enclosure for it?
So I will be making some custom large walk-in enclosures. So right now, my snake room is about 30 foot wide by 40 foot long, and plenty high.
Wow.
So, yeah. So the end goal build out is going to be custom enclosures, running against the back wall. All of these will be either gone or moved, and I'll start working my way lengthwise. But yeah, they'll be walk-in enclosures basically, so I can go in the enclosure with them and work with them.
That's awesome. I didn't realize you had such a large space.
Yeah, plenty of room. I just have to get all the nonsense stuff that needs to go into storage out of here.
Yep.
Hey, John, how's it going, bud?
So have you or do you intend to breed any of these cobras or any of your hots?
Yes. So I actually have 2 different species of cobra that are gravid right now. That is one of my pearl Chinese cobras. I'll show you the male so we can get an idea of what the pearls look like. So the pearl Chinese cobra, or Naja atra, this is going to be my male. Hey, buddy. This is Wong. Easy. Come see me. So here's Wong. And his girlfriend, Tang, is very, very pregnant. Should be seeing eggs any day now. And then
Well, what is the market
My-
for those snakes? What's your price point?
so that is something I'm gonna have to do some work on. I personally have never seen any captive born pearl Chinese cobras available. Not to say that they're not out there, because they are. I've personally just never seen any.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to work on that. Also, my female Egyptian cobra is gravid. They were all paired about the same time. So
And what's the ease, or the not ease? I can't think of the other word. But how hard is it to breed cobra species and venomous animals in general?
from my experience, it's not very hard at all. When I got that pair of Chinese cobras, I was told they came from Tyler Nolan. I was told that they were ready to go, ready to breed like right now. I was like, okay. So I get them here, got them comfortable. They, chilled out after a couple of feedings, and I went ahead and introduced them, and it was immediately. They locked up, and they stayed locked up for about 8 or 9 days. And then finally I pulled the male because he just would not leave her alone. And he did his job.
Wow.
That's
Only one
impressive.
pairing?
What's that?
I said only one pairing on them, and then
Yeah.
never seen her
Yeah.
again?
I paired them. Well, that's not true. I paired them twice. The way I've got them set up, I divided the 2 4-foot by 2-foot by 2-foot enclosures to make, it's basically an 8x2. I divided them in the middle, and then one of the portholes that would pass through wires normally. Of course, there's not any wires in there. I just unscrewed the porthole and took it out, and they could pass as they needed. And so they paired again. And then finally I called it good and closed it back up. And she's already, refused the food, the whole thing. She's pre-lay shed, and now she's held up in her nest box. So
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick sponsor break and we'll be right back.
If you need to accelerate your breeding plans, use Charlie at Grey Rider Reptiles for fast and reliable shed testing services. His testing services offer both speed and accuracy, ensuring that you receive dependable results in a timely manner. As a valued customer, he is happy to offer you a 15% discount on your purchase. Visit www.shedtesting.com and use code TEXOMA15 during checkout to take advantage of the offer. Limit of 2 uses per customer.
Meet Sammy, a ball python breeder with a specialty in the pipe project. When you meet him, don't be shy to ask questions about his snakes, as he loves to share his knowledge and experience with others. He is a friendly and approachable guy who is always happy to chat with fellow reptile enthusiasts. Whether you are a seasoned snake breeder or just starting out, Sammy is the perfect person to connect with if you are interested in the pipe project. So keep a lookout for that hot pink shirt.
Python Suzy. He's been professionally fondling pythons since April 2024. Before that, it was just for fun. He has balls and golans, and soon he'll have dwarf Burmese pythons in his collection. He loves dark clowns, leopards, and long walks on the beach with sunsets. He thinks Orange Dream and Blackhead are salt and pepper on a good steak. Hit him up. He'll talk about just about anything.
Heck yeah, hit me up.
So I'm sorry, Tyler. I have not done your video yet. I'm slacking. But Tyler is now a sponsor for Fuzzy Acres, Texoma 10 website, Tyler.
Yep, fuzzyacres.com. Go there before you check out. Right before, there's a discount code section. Texoma 10 gets you 10% off your order, and if your order's $300 or more, you get free shipping anyways, and 10% off that as well.
That's awesome. So you wanted me to wait for this? I'm gonna go ahead and do it now.
It's Tyler's Just the Tip. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Kills me.
Dude, I love it, Travis. Thank you so much for voicing that over. God, breeding tip. Oh, no, not a breeding tip. I'm going to give you a market tip here. Buy monarchs. That's it. Just buy monarchs.
Oh my gosh.
No, I disagree.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you.
It's too late. Everybody's already into it.
No, they're not. No, they're not, Travis.
It's too late to be in position.
So I would actually like a tip for the fruit flies or whatever you want to call them, because they're driving me insane.
The Raid pest strips, I never really have a problem with them just because where I'm at. I feel like it's a lot of southern collections have them. All the collections I've visited towards me or more north don't really have them. But when I've went to some facilities farther south, I think it's just the heat and humidity makes it a lot more prevalent for the bugs and just anything to be in there. So, but Raid pest strips I use just if I have flies down here. There was one time actually I had like little gnats a couple years ago, and I just put Raid pest strips and like little like cups of stuff, and they were gone in like 2 days, and I haven't seen them since.
Yeah, that doesn't work here. There's gnats all the time everywhere, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I would actually hate that. I just never have an issue with it. With where we're in the basement, it's never super hot or super humid down here. Like,
and he said that his hair is like at a triangle, and it's all crazy.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's fucking wonderful.
So, Holly, do you have live plants in your house?
I do.
Do they seem to be congregating or coming from the live plants?
No.
No?
No.
Because I was going to say there might be fungus gnats.
Yeah.
And a good way to get rid of them is a little bit of dish soap. When you water the plant, mix a little dish soap in the water, and that'll kill the larva.
Bryan, do you have issues with them there?
When I bring in fruit flies, like for the dart frogs and things like that, when I had my main setup like in the garage in the house, it started to become an issue. But out here, I don't seem to have a problem. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but like, we've got all the dogs here and all the snakes. We have over 100 snakes, and it doesn't matter because that room has to stay so humid. It stays so warm. I think it's just going to happen, and I have the pest strips everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I
take the fruit out of that room.
What's that?
I take all your fruit out of that room.
The only fruits in the incubator.
Thanks, Travis. No, I just never have that problem, so it's not like I've had to really hone in on how to fix it myself.
Yeah.
I'm really good at fixing problems that I've had, not like random ones. And again, it's happened once and it wasn't bad. Like there's a collection I went to that, they were just everywhere, and there wasn't really much you could do about it. It's just the way it is. Like it doesn't cut off for you during like the winter, and then get bad like spring, summer time. Like
it's a lot of spring, summer time here. So
it sucks.
So, Bryan, what else do you have going on?
On the gnats, real quick, I read that if you keep a good healthy colony of bats, it should get better.
Mm, yeah,
I mean,
maybe that's why I'm
Bobby.
lucky. I got like so many.
Bobby,
bats.
I need a bat. There we go.
Oh, I wonder if it's more fun to raise bats than ASFs.
it's gotta
Yes,
be.
it has to be.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I cleaned all my ASFs today, and I have a colony that I need to cull the whole colony.
I've had to
Very
do
good.
that like 4 times this last 2 months.
It's that
They're
organic.
like, I don't know who gives them the special ops training, but these guys are, the one colony is just ninja special ops, trapeze artists. I don't know what I don't know what happened to them. They came from a lab or something.
All that organic stuff, man. It's making them crazy.
You know what?
That's those
Tyler,
GMO
I am getting litters of ASFs that are like, I can't even begin to count how
Yep.
many pinkies are there. It's insane. I mean, it's got to be like 300 pinkies. No, not 300, but I mean, it's like a whole big freaking pile of pinkies.
Yeah, man. I love them. ASFs are
It's
good.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. I got ASFs coming out of my ASS, which I said before, but now my grow outs are like, I got to start feeding smaller rats because I got too many ASFs now. I need more grow outs.
Well, that's all right. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest problem with the ASFs are the grow out space, really. Like
Yeah.
they take so
I
long to
think
grow
so
out.
too.
And they
It's
produce
like
so much.
once they become teenagers, that's when the parents decide to eat them.
Mm,
And that's the issue I'm having. And I've done the sweet potatoes. I've done all kinds of, okay, I will. And it's just like, it's driving me crazy. And I'll feed off the whole damn colony. You start eating them, you kind of expect it from the first time moms.
yeah.
But then after that stage, they shouldn't be doing that.
No, the ASFs are nuts. I think, what did I do this week? I think I put down like 800 ASFs this week. They're popping, man. I love them. Yeah, and I got ASFs to do tomorrow too, so I'll probably pull and put down the same amount. There's
Are
some
you
tips.
going to do your party, your grand opening party?
Dude, I was thinking about it, and then I was like, I don't know. I don't know. For me, I was listening to someone who said the same thing. It's like grand openings are weird because it's never good enough. And that wasn't for like a rodent or even a snake facility. It was just for something else. It's like, do a grand opening for like a rodent breeding facility. Like,
Hey.
Who would go to that? I mean, I'd probably show up, but there's a very niche customer base for rodent facility grand openings.
exactly. Yeah. Like I'd be a lot more open to do it when like the snakes are in there and it's all good and perfect. But I mean, and people can come whenever they want to come. Like if you text me tomorrow and you're like, I'm coming up for a weekend, it's like, okay, cool, like cool vibe. But
You can clean out some
That's
tubs.
what I'm gonna do. I'm just
I
gonna
don't
be
think I
like,
can do a Warfels fucking barbecue at the rodent breeding facility.
yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Oh my god! But
I'm gonna make you do it.
if anyone wants to come, just let me know.
There's a lot of people that's wanting to see what you're doing, how you're doing it, the scale you're getting at already. And, you got a lot of people looking up to you, although you're what, 19?
20.
He's 20, y'all.
Same thing.
Yeah, I know, same shit. Yeah, I know it's cool, but I don't know. Just call me. Anyone can come at any time. I don't care where you're from. I'm gonna be a lot more open to do it once the snake stuff's all set up. That look like construction part should be starting in the next like couple weeks. Getting the snake room set up because there's a lot of work to do to get those set up, and also keep up on all the rodents.
Yeah.
But it's nuts.
Bryan, you get your rats from Holly?
When I have to do live, yeah. for the most part, I do frozen thawed if possible, and most of everything doesn't mind, frozen thawed. And I don't always do rodents. I'll mix it up, quail chicks, chicken chicks, fish, frog. A lot of them will eat a lot of different things.
Nice. And
You know, I do frozen too, Brian.
I know, but everything you have is massive. Like the biggest snake I have can't quite handle your frozens.
Actually, we started doing them because of other customers. They're so we've been doing different sizes. It's just like you have to let me know beforehand,
Sure.
and I can get your order done. And typically, what we like to do is as fresh as we can. So if you let me know the day before you need to pick up, I'll have your order done.
That'd be amazing.
You're on a 1 day.
Whatever.
There you go. You're good.
Yeah, that's fresh, straight out of the press. You want some pinkies? Bam! They're a day old.
Shit. I tell people to give me like a week.
Well, you're a little bigger, Tyler.
No, I know. But it's like, if you want some, I mean, at this point, I have 99% of it just already there.
Yeah.
But for like my ASFs, dude hit me up and I was like, yeah, I'm going to need a week for that just to make sure I have everything. It was a large ASF order, but it was like 100 of each size from pinky to jumbo. It's like, all right,
Well,
give me a week.
It is hard being a rodent breeder for your customers to try to get everything they want because you have so many customers. Everybody wants something different. Everybody thinks, oh, Holly's free all the time. No, Holly's not. Holly works a 5 to 1 o'clock job. So Holly gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And, you have to try to prioritize your customers, absolutely. But you also still have to think about yourself and your day job and everything else. So,
oh yeah,
Brian, you're like 100% right now on your animals.
Yeah. So I spent 20 plus years in the oil field, and this last time it slowed down, I've had enough of it. So this is something that I love compared to what I was doing. So yeah, I'm diving in head first.
Nice.
You were telling me about the numbers, and I won't throw those numbers out, but you're doing really good just on TikTok and your Patreon, right?
Yeah, it's really picking up. Like daily, it's growing, quite a bit per day. So really excited. I didn't think it would ever like happen this fast, I guess.
Right.
I got a question for you about you mentioned like all your setups are bioactive. Do you think that that's the best way to keep animals or venomous animals or whatever it is? Like, I think for me, breeding balls, no, but for a lot of other species, probably. But what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, so all bioactives, as far as, a straight breeder, it's not going to make sense money-wise. That's not efficient at all. Trying to keep everything in its own bioactive enclosure, it's just not reasonable. So, as I move forward and grow, they're not all going to be bioactive enclosures at all. That's just, you can't do it.
Oh yeah, no.
But for like the stuff I would like to show and talk about, try to give information on, I like to have a bioactive enclosure just for looks, I guess. I like to keep them in as close as possible to nature, I guess.
No, that makes sense. And I agree, the same thing. Like, I tell people, if you want to make a bioactive or a few bioactives for your like pet balls, cool. I can't do that.
Right.
Yeah. But I think it's super cool to see the growth in that community, because I'd never heard of bioactive until like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I've been breeding snakes for like 9 years. I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
That's cool.
I'm really excited to see what ball python projects you get into as well, because that's what I do. But what are your goals for the ball python industry?
Well, I mean, as you guys know, it's pretty saturated, right?
Mhm. Yep.
If I'm gonna do it, it's not gonna, I'm not gonna put all my eggs in that basket, of course. But I guess with what I do produce, I'm just gonna try, to make it the best I possibly can. Try to grab some fairly impressive stuff here and there if I can, and I guess see what I come up with. I'm no professional breeder by any means, so I've definitely got a lot to learn. I know that.
So something I've learned in the last really couple of years is you have to have your pet industry and you have to have your breeder industry.
Yeah.
And where we live, if you're not going to be vending shows, you need to do pet industry animals.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I've been teetering at, is because I don't want to vend shows. I'm not the type of person who I can put myself out there and just be happy go lucky. Oh, buy my animal, and the cost there, so was a couple weekends ago, we had a local show in Denison, and just for a booth, it was $350 just for a booth. And there was some people that only sold a couple of animals, so it didn't pay for that booth. And you have other costs in there as well. And that's the part I'm kind of struggling with. Is it going to be worth it for me to buy everything it costs to do a show? And so what is your take on that? Are you going to be vending shows? Are you going to put yourself out there like that? If you're going to be doing the ball pythons, are you just going to be pet breeder or big breeder?
And can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
Are you able to vend hots where you're at, and are you going to do like shows with hots as well? I mean, I think it's probably show by show basis, but
yeah,
is that something you would be interested in?
Possibly a little. I'll try the whole, show thing, vending a little bit, just kind of test the water, see how it is. I don't see myself going like all out with like say the ball pythons or anything like that. Like large scale, not large scale at all. I mean, I believe you can. There are shows around that allow hots to be, brought in, but like you said, it's kind of depends on what show it is. I could see doing it. I don't see me like just going all in as far as vending. I think it's going to be, I guess what I'm trying to say, eventually I want to have some type of facility that's going to be open to the public, whether that be more of your just educational type facility, big, nice enclosures, all the stuff, or, things for sale, like a little bit different than your normal pet shop, say, a little bit less ordinary things. I think somewhere in the lungs of something like that. But I really do want to do something educational because there's so many people that are just so misinformed. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think for where we live, that is an excellent idea. I really do, to where people can come in, see your hots, experience them, learn about them. As far as the hots and being sold, I don't know what the laws are or even shows for that in Oklahoma. I do in Texas, but I don't know if we can go over state lines with hots. How does that work?
Yeah, they don't like in Oklahoma, so the law, you have to have a separate transport permit to bring them into the state. So I wouldn't imagine they would want them. You're going to have to be permitted to send them out of state lines too.
Yeah.
That
So
includes
like
shipping?
I have one hot. That's all I have. It's a pet. He's right here beside me. He's looking at me all the time. And how are you wanting to grow the hot industry in Oklahoma? What can you bring to that industry to help it grow?
I don't know that I will like focus in on just, one state. As far as just Oklahoma, it's probably going to have to be an online presence of some kind, because you can get on the internet and you can find wild and crazy mambas, anything you want, right?
Yeah.
But like I was saying earlier, most of them are wild caught. They're going to come with a host of problems. Nobody really knows what they're getting, and I'm not just going to sell to anybody. They're not just going to walk in and say, I want that, and they're going to walk out the door. No way.
Yeah.
Any sales I do of venomous animals, of course, I'll have to have proof of their permit for whatever state. And then there's going to have to be at least a good conversation over the phone just to feel out, do they have enough, experience to handle this type of animal?
Right.
Because that's the last thing I want, somebody that just doesn't know and grabs, something wild and something bad happen.
Right. Exactly.
So as far as hots go, if somebody were to wanted to get into hots, do you have a recommendation for like a first hot to get some experience with?
So here's what I tell people. It's what you want to work with, really, more than a certain one species or the other. If you want to work with rattlesnakes, get some non-venomous that are, I don't know, fairly similar, or even just real spicy non-venomous. Some of the big rat snakes the yellowtail crebos. Practice, handling those before you actually move to a fully hot animal. But whatever you can see yourself working with long term, I would say go for that. As long as it's not something wild like a king cobra or a mamba.
And
Yeah, I was gonna
that's
say,
what I
somebody's
did.
like, well, I want to start working with mambas. You don't start there.
No.
Right.
I wouldn't ever tell anybody to start with a mamba. In my opinion, that's one of the most dangerous animals to handle in the world. Like,
Right. With reptiles and oddities, Chris, I worked with him and I was like, what's a great venomous for me to start with? Because I do love the hots. And he's like, something extremely small. And he actually hooked me up with the Western Massasauga, little rattlesnake. And that's where I'm starting. And I've learned that he likes to jump and he will jump out at me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not aware that those little suckers, they're little springs. It's just like as soon as you open that door, they jump. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of where I'm at, but I do want to get more. Bobby. Um he's very against me having anything hot. He won't deal with it. And I think you have to have a certain kind of support system because I know if I'm not here, this little guy's not getting fed.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody that helps you feed if you're not available to feed your animals?
Yes. Yeah. So my wife, I used to be out of town every 2 weeks for work, and keeping reptiles, that's pretty much impossible to keep them all alive. It doesn't matter, it's just not
Yep.
doable. I want to be here. So now I am here, so much better. But yeah, my wife does help anything I need with. As far as non-venomous, I'll let her feed, but I don't want anybody
Right.
else getting in, a venomous enclosure and doing anything. It's just not worth it.
So I can depend on you when I go on another cruise to feed my animal. That's
Hey,
what I'm
hey,
doing.
I'll do it.
So what do you have for like a safety protocol? Like say you're in there, it's 10 at night, you're handling one of your cobras and you get bit. Like what's your process? What do you do?
Well, that is part of the process already. Being here by myself and handling by myself, I try
Don't
not
do
to
it.
do if I don't have to.
Right?
If an accident were to happen, you could start experiencing symptoms in a matter of seconds. So you might not even make it to your vehicle to go to the hospital. I don't know. So it's definitely a better idea to always have somebody there when you're going to handle, especially some of the animals that I handle. They are, still so defensive.
So you're there, you're handling, your wife's there, you get bit by a snake. you're calling 911, then you're calling your wife, right? She's in the other room or whatever. So what do you guys do? What's your snake bite? Like, what's your first aid?
Right. So it's basically as quick as you can get in the vehicle and start headed, to get medical attention first of all.
Right.
I've talked with the emergency room doctors, the closest emergency room, and my personal doctor. They have instructions if something like that were to happen.
Okay.
While I'm working on the process of importing my own anti-venom, you have to go through the process with the FDA and some other channels. But while I'm going through that process, the only place that I know it might be available for some of these exotic species would be like Venom 1 in Florida. I do know that, they've done that in the past, had to like Metaflight anti-venom. That would be, I would say, my closest shot right now to receiving some of these species anti-venom, because you're definitely not going to find it at your local hospital, that's for sure.
Is there anything you can do? I mean, can you ice and compression? You get bit by a rattlesnake, it's ice and compression. I know the venom, for a cobra is a lot different. Is there anything that you can do first aid wise like that can slow it down or give you a little bit of a better chance while they're, rushing that anti-venom from Venom 1?
Yeah, so all I would be able to do is basically like a not tight or not loose compression bandage, like on the
Okay.
way. And then all they could do at the hospital would be treat the symptoms until either I make it through without or anti-venom gets there. That's basically your option, without
Right.
your own imported anti-venom.
And with all this being said, for beginner reptile keepers, you only want to keep the species that's local to you. For a beginner, so the anti-venom is readily available.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You don't want to keep a cobra from Asia or anything. Start off with a rattlesnake that's local. It's there. So
Yeah, they're gonna have stuff at probably your local hospital like Crowfab or kind of
Right.
a blanket anti-venom for all the North American pit vipers and stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, we're at an hour or a little bit over an hour. So Bryan, thank you for coming on. Travis, Tyler, thank you. Jamie, go ahead, Tyler.
Slacker.
Get her. Slacker.
No.
Again, thank you, everybody. Happy Father's Day. We will see you next week.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
guys.
having me.